Right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Uh, in last class, we discussed about the phase diagrams and terminology about the different uh, terms under the phase diagrams we discussed in the previous class. As I told in the previous class, we will discuss about the some commercial types of the steels which are right now which are available for our industrial applications. At right now, what kind of the steels which we are using for industrial purpose, that that what I am highlighting today. Here, this is the classification of steels with depends upon the carbon content as well as some commercial steels which we can use or which we are depending upon these kinds of the steels for our various industrial applications. Number one, the steels which we can or technically which we can classify the steels based on the carbon content. As I told you that carbon content is very vital role in steel. How the carbon content is varied in the steel, we are allowed to vary the carbon percent in the steel, means in the iron, because the steel is a mixture of iron and carbon. How we are allowed to vary this carbon content in the iron composition? So based on that, we can expect the mechanical properties. Only the iron we have certain properties. That's what we are using in ancient days and in the past 10 decades. We are using the iron only. Now today we are constructing the engineering material. That's what a beauty of alloy, that is a steel, by combining the number of engineering number of elements, number of minerals which we can add into the steel, which we are constructing a steel for the industrial applications. Basically, the steel is the mixture of carbon and iron. Thereafter, we are choosing the other non-ferrous elements for achieving or enhancing the next level of the steels. Depends upon the customer demands and the application needs. See how we are allowed to increase the carbon content in the steels. The same way we can expect the mechanical properties from that particular steel, because this is what a vital role in the iron. What exactly the iron is affects to the how the iron is affects to the how the carbon is affects to the steel or iron, sir. Simple case, when where there is a iron there is a hardness. This will be increases the hardness of the steel. Carbon content is increase the hardness of the steel as well as the sometimes strength. Strength is already present in the iron, but we want strength and hard materials. We want strength and hard materials. Strength is we are expecting or we are driven from the iron. And now what we want the hardness in that steel. That's what we are allowed to vary the carbon content. How the carbon content is increased, their hardness will be increases. Hope you understand. Carbon content is increases, hardness of the steel will be increases. Based on this and based on the applications which we are going to vary the carbon content, as I can highlighted here, low carbon content steel or low carbon steel. Already I told the content of the carbon, how much it is. That I told in the previous class. I'm not taking into the deep. Already I told that. Just I will mention here for the utilization of the steel. So low carbon steel it is, and medium carbon steel. Low carbon steel means the carbon content is low. These kinds of the steels are coming for some particular applications. Once again, I will mention here, don't worry. Once again, I will mention 0.022, 0.012. This is what low carbon content, 0.012, 0.25% carbon we can expect from the low carbon steel. Low carbon steel which contains the carbon percentage is about 0.01 to 0.25 percentage with respect to the low carbon steel. Once we found these this percentage of the carbon in the steel, that we can say it is a low carbon steel. What are the applications? What are the properties we can expect, sir? Suppose we allow this much of carbon into the iron, this much of carbon we allow to mix this much of the carbon into the low carbon, into the iron, sir, that will become a low carbon steel. What kind of the property we can expect? And based on that property, where I can use these kinds of the steel? That's what the question. Suppose we allow to mix this carbon content into the iron, that becomes low carbon steel. What are the properties we can expect from the low carbon steel? Suppose this content, I found this much of the carbon present in that iron. So generally you can say it is a low carbon, but what kind of the property can I expect? Yes, if low content is present, low carbon content is present in this steel, a property of this steel is a soft steel. We can say it is a soft steel. Ductility of this steel would be a good ductility. It has good ductility. It has a good ductility, and good ductility it is. And good ductility means good machinability also. This has good machinability. Excellent strength. It has excellent strength. Good machinability, or good ductility, good machinability, and excellent strength. These are the major properties we can expect from the low carbon steel. What about the hardness of the steel? Suppose if you ask, what about the hardness, sir? This low carbon steels are very poor in hard property. This will not give this will not process the hardness, because there is no much carbon content present in this kinds of steel. Very small carbon present. As a result, we cannot expect the hardness from the steel, but we can expect the ductility, because it is a soft steel. We can say it is a soft steel, soft steel, which means it has a ductility, it has a good ductility, good machinability, and excellent strength we can expect from the low carbon steel. Whereas other hand, low brittleness, low hardness, whereas other hand we can write it demerits on drawbacks of this low carbon steel: low hardness, low brittleness, and more corrosion resistance. This is more corrosion resistance, corrosion problem. Whereas other hand, you can write it low hardness, low brittleness, and corrosion resistance problem. I hope you understand. And then where exactly we can use this low carbon steel? Domestical applications or structural applications. Structural applications in the sense, what we are using the window grills. Window grill is the best example for the low carbon steel. Window grills, and also you might have experience with your benches are made by now metallic materials. Benches, chairs, all these structure kinds of the materials. These are all these kinds of the applications which we can made by the low carbon steels. Window grills, chair, benches, almars, many as domestical applications which we can construct the low carbon steels. One more major application is rods. All TMT rods which are made up of low carbon steels. TMT rods for the construction purpose, what we are using, construction purpose for roof, and reinforcement rods, what we are using for the construction. In civil, engineers are using the reinforcement rods. All those rods are made by the low carbon steels. Window grills are also made by the low carbon steels. I hope you understand. These are the applications of the low carbon steels: chairs, benches, almars, cots, some seats also they're made by the low carbon steels, because of it is a soft steel it is. These are the properties, and the drawbacks also I told you that. Now I am coming to the medium carbon steel. Medium carbon steel, so it has, no, I will wash off this. Coming to the medium carbon steel, it has the carbon content around about 0.26 to 0.55 up to 0.55 percentage of total weight of the iron. 0.26 to 0.55. This is what we are allowing to mix this carbon into the iron. That becomes medium carbon steel. If you found in particular steel, if you found the carbon content around about 0.6 to in this range, if you found, you can say it is, oh, it's a medium carbon steel. Then what kind of the properties can expect? Then how it behaves mechanically? It has, suppose it has a 2.55% of carbon content. How it behaves? It behaves like this. Properties of this. Now, moderate ductility. Moderate ductility. Not a good ductility. Moderate, medium ductility. And moderate strength. Moderate strength means medium strength. Moderate hard also. Moderate hard. Less corrosion resistance. Less corrosion resistance. Poor machinability. Poor machinability. What exactly the machinability? Nobody can ask. Let it be. So I don't have a time. So the machinability, yes, I will explain. Let me to clear. So I don't have time to ask you. So machinability is nothing but amount of material removal when we are to make something by using some kinds of the steels or materials. The formation of chip will be formed. If there is no chip formation, because I wanted to construct in cold working process, especially in cold working process means in our lathe machines. For example, lathe machines, lathe drilling machines, shaping machines, like this, some manufacturing. These are all cold working processes. Lathe, drilling, milling, all these are the manufacturing process or manufacturing machines. While we are manufacturing something, we have to remove the material. That is what machining, the process of remove the unwanted materials. As a result, we can get a final finished product. Because this is huge material is there, we wanted to construct like this, because all these unwanted materials we have to remove it. As a result, we can get the finished product. But you are not able to remove that excess materials. You have to have some difficulty to remove the unwanted materials, because if you are not able to remove that unwanted materials, so how can you construct the shape, what we are expecting, that shape, that what finished product? If you are not ready, or if you are not able to remove the unwanted materials, then you will not get a finished product. That's very difficulty. Once we touch the tool, that material, immediately that will be a form like chip formation. Easily that excess material is removed out while we are machining. The process of, that is what machining. Machining means, so remove the unwanted materials. That is what machining. The process of removing the unwanted materials by using the tools. While we using the tools, that material will easily removed out in the form of formation of chips. Then only we can get the correct and finished, correct and exact dimensional finished product. Otherwise, there will be a difficulty. If material becomes hard, we will not expect the chip formation. That's very difficult to remove it because maybe that is affected because your work material will becomes hard more than the tool. Now that maybe that will affect to the tool. Maybe the tool break or something will be happen. There will be some damage from the tool. There will be the heat will be generated. Enormous heat will be generated. There will be, because of lot of the friction, because both the materials are very hard. Sir, this is very difficult to machine these kinds of materials because these kinds of materials are very hard. So while machining, we had lot of issues, sir. That's what we please replace this material because we cannot construct easily what we are expecting that shape. So always we want to construct something that definitely while processing like this or machining, that material, that work material should be removed easily by we are using the tools. That's what machinability. That have to have a good machinability, that particular material while we are constructing something. That's what we can say it is a machinability. We need this machinability in that particular material. But here the machinability is poor. This means medium carbon steels are very difficult to form into the required shape and size. Hope you understand. The medium carbon steels are very difficult to form. So what we want in the particular structure and construction. But low carbon steels, which we can form it easily by applying the tools. But medium carbon steels are difficult to form in the required shape. Right. Now coming to the other hand, so one hand, these are the moderate ductility. Moderate ductility, medium ductility is not an extreme ductility. Medium ductility, medium strength, medium hard, and less corrosion resistance. Because of the carbon content increases, hardness increases, as well as the corrosion resistance also increases. There are two major properties from the carbon. One is a hard, other one is a corrosion resistance. If you take high carbon steels has an excellent corrosion resistance property. Later we will discuss coming to the high carbon steel. Now, these are the properties of the medium carbon steels: poor machinability, high corrosion resistance, and hard. You can expect the hard, you can expect the strength, and you can expect the ductility from the medium carbon steel. So we have such kinds of the properties in the medium carbon steel, and how we can utilize these kinds of the steels in our industrial applications. Where exactly we can use these kinds of the steels. These kinds of the steels you can use in the, because it is hard as well as strength. This is we can use for the industrial applications. Exact industrial applications, which means where exactly, sir? Locomotive and automotive applications. These kinds of the steels which we are using for the especially, and this is the most offerable steel for constructing the industrial applications as well as the locomotive and automotive industries. Locomotive industry in the sense railway tracks. You might have seen that railway tracks. Railway tracks are made by the medium carbon steel. Locomotive applications, wheels, some coach equipments, some other equipments belongs to the locomotive. Many of the locomotive equipments tools are made by the medium carbon steels. Basically, your railway track is made by the medium carbon steel. Suppose if your railway track is made up of low carbon steel, what will happen? You only can think that I left you this thing. I left you this your imagination. If you suppose if you are being an engineer, if you are suggesting the low carbon steel to construct the locomotive application or construct these tracks, and you suggest these kinds of the steels for the locomotive applications, what happens? Suppose one example exactly I will take that. Suppose a low carbon steel is made up of low carbon, that railway track is made up of low carbon steel, what will happen? Because low carbon steel is a soft carbon, it has very excellent ductility. Once the train passes over that track, just you can think what will happen to that. Now, that's what the medium carbon steels are best example for constructing the locomotive applications, such as railway tracks, wheels, some other coaches, some other equipments which we can made up of the using low medium carbon steels. In coming to the industrial applications and automobile applications, casings, gearbox are made up of the medium carbon steel. Some kinds of the gears, gearboxes, housings, engine blocks, some engine component, many of the engine, as many as what not for automotive applications. Medium carbon steel, engine blocks, engine components, many of the engine components, engine blocks, engine body, casings, bearing housings, all these kinds of the applications, all these kinds of the elements which we can constructed by the medium carbon steel. Now I will go on to the high carbon steel. Now coming to the high carbon steel, so this has a carbon content is around about 0.562 up to 1%, bar 1.8%. This is, we can say it is, high carbon steel it is. So now I will coming to here again. If the carbon content is increases, their hardness will be increases as well as the corrosion resistance is also improved. That also improved. So keep aside the corrosion resistance, so we can discuss later. First, if the carbon content is increases by increasing or by varying the carbon content here. How the carbon content goes on increases, their hardness also be increases, hardness increases. Later, what it happens, it becomes brittle. It becomes quite brittle. Which one? This high carbon steel, because of carbon content is around about 1% or 1.8%. Maximum 2% we can expect from the steel. More than 2% if you found carbon content, that is not a steel, that is cast iron. Maximum percentage of capability of maximum percentage of carbon in the steel is last up to 2%. More than 2% if you found in that particular steel. So we basically can say it is a steel. If you found, unfortunately, more than 2% of carbon content in that steel, now you don't say this as a steel. You can say it as a cast iron. More than 2% if you found, that is what is a cast iron. You cannot say it is a steel because both are look like the same. When we are examining or checking the carbon content present in that particular steel or iron, if it reaches about 2%, about 2%, which we found, we can say it is cast iron. If below a percentage which we found from that particular material, we can say it is a steel. Then again we are checking how much content is there. If it is less than 2%, how much it is present. If it is present in the range of 0.1 to 2.6, that based on that we can classify them whether it is comes under low, medium, and high. That's what it is. Now the 0.56 to 1% of carbon content, or is 1.8 up to, we can use we can allow to vary the carbon content in the high carbon steel. Suppose so it becomes quite brittle now. So hard carbon is increases, hardness also increases. Where there is a hardness, there is a brittleness. Where there is a brittleness, there is a hardness. Where there is a hardness, there is a carbon content. This is the main source to increase this hardness and brittleness. Where there is a carbon, you can expect there will be a hard and there will be a brittleness. Now coming to the properties of the high carbon steel, I will write it here. Excellent hard, brittleness, and also brittleness. Excellent hard, brittleness, less ductility, poor machinability. Poor machinability. Only with my reference I am writing here, I am explaining. You don't worry. All these things I am going to put it into my materials. My own writing, so is there. So the same things I am writing in my notes. Just you can so refer from the notes, no problem. Just my only the reference I'm writing it here. Just you can observe these things and you can just listen carefully. That's it. Everything so I keep it in my material, and I will post you in the in coming days. No problem. This the high carbon steel has these kinds of the properties: excellent hard brittleness, less ductility and poor machinability, and excellent corrosion resistance also. Excellent corrosion resistance. Now I will take it here. Excellent corrosion resistance. Excellent corrosion resistance. Which one? High carbon steel. And excellent wear resistance. Excellent wear resistance also. Good temperature. Good temperature means good temperature resistance. Good temperature resistance. This will work at elevated temperature. These two are in the room temperature. These will come under the cold working processes. This will come hot working processes. This will be work at elevated temperature, but these two are not cold working temperature. That's what we can use it in cold work in room temperature. These two are in the room temperature. This may be work in room temperature as well as in the elevated temperature also. Because of that, because it has good temperature related properties, also wear resistance because of the carbon content, because of the hardness. Where there is a hardness, again we can expect the wear properties here. Wear property. You might have heard the hard property. So assume there will be a wear property. Something that will be registered wear also. Now these are the properties of the high carbon steels. Once again, I repeat, don't get confused. Excellent hard, brittleness, less ductility, poor machinability, and wear resistance property, excellent corrosion resistance property, then good temperature withstanding capability or ability to withstand the elevated temperature. These are the properties of from the high carbon steel. Then where exactly I can use? See, these two conditions you can remember: less ductility and poor machinability. Once it is poor machinability, then these kinds of the steels are not suitable for making something. Making something means constructing something component, making something. These are not suitable because poor machinability means we are not easily so form it into any shape, because very difficult, because this is very hard material. While we are machining, we have very difficulties while machining. So difficulty because we want special tools for doing all this, but surface quality of that finished product too. So very poor, and so very lot of issues are there while machining these kinds of material. These are not suitable actually. Coming to this one is a poor machinability, in the sense this is not industrial application for the domestic applications as well as the locomotive and other applications. But then because this is quite brittle and hard, then how can I utilize these high carbon steels, sir? Because this high carbon steel application will be restricted now, nor the domestical, neither industrial applications. Then how can I use this high carbon steels? These applications are very restricted applications. Then only you can use these kinds of the steels for coating purposes or making the tools. What we have now, the tools. I hope you know the tools. Industrial tools. If you look into the lathe machines, whichever the tools we are using for the lathe machines, drilling machines, there is a tool, drill tool, drill bits, tool tips, some dies. Only this high carbon steel is suitable for making the tools, because tools are very harder. Always our tool is harder than the work material. One example I will give you: the low carbon steels. All the low carbon steels are machined by the high carbon steel. All the low carbon steels are machined by the high carbon steel. For low carbon steel, suppose something we want to construct some domestic application, we want to construct from the steels. This steel is machined by this high carbon steel because this is harder than this. We are using this high carbon tool to make something from the low carbon steel. This will be machined, these kinds of materials, because this is very high, very hard material. It is high carbon steel. Only we can use these high carbon steels for making the tools, industrial tools, all kinds of industrial tools. Just I will give some examples. Lathe machine tools, drilling tool, milling tool, drill bits tool, shank of the tool and tip of the tool. All these things are made by the high carbon steels. Also some coating purposes. We are making a fine powder of these hard materials, and we are also using it. And also other applications of this stainless steel applications. Stainless steel will come under the high carbon steel. Stainless steel, the magical application for the stainless steel, you know very well about. There's some saving blade is the best example for the stainless steel, and that will comes under the high carbon steel. Because of what? Because of high corrosion resistance, high or not high, excellent corrosion resistance. In that sense, which we are using these by making some precision tools. Precision tools means bearings, ball bearings and roller bearings made by the high carbon steels. Some domestic application in the sense saving blades, which we are made by the high carbon steels. High carbon steel in that stainless steel. Saving blades, scissors, as many as some body of the watches, some body of the precision materials, which are all made by the high carbon steel because it has a very hard property. One more is a very not very excellent corrosion resistance property. Now coming to the, okay, I hope you understand about all these three types of the steels, their properties and applications of the steel, and as well as the composition of the steels. I hope you clear that. Once again, the microstructure we will discuss in the coming chapter. We have the microstructure of all these three steels. Now we'll move on to the alloy steels. In alloy steels, which are the steels we have for in alloy steels for the industrial applications right now? So high alloy means high alloy, high strength and low alloy. Very alloying. These are alloying steels. Now coming to the alloying steels. Alloying steels means not only to the carbon end. This is only restricted to the iron and carbon. These two are only belongs to the iron and carbon. Now we are coming to the alloy steels. Iron, carbon with other alloying elements. That is what alloy steel, which is a mixture of carbon, iron, and other alloying contents. So low alloy steels, high strength and low alloy steels. Maybe it is a chromium, nickel, or maybe aluminum. Anything else you can take. These kinds of the steels are available. Now coming to the medium alloy, for example, nickel and chromium alloys. This is most commonly we are using the which alloy steel it is? Nickel and chromium alloy steel. Nickel and chromium steel alloy is right now is present for the industrial applications because it has a strength as well as a wear resistance property, toughness, strength as well as wear resistance. Once we are adding these two alloys into the steels, that steel becomes very import the good toughness and also wear resistance. This will import the wear resistance property as well as the temperature related and toughness property will be improved. Now coming to the manganese steels is available and chromium steels are available. With respect to the wear resistance, we have to increase the wear property of that steel. We are adding the chromium, and temperature and hardness also we are increasing by putting the manganese. These are the alloy steels which we can discuss. Now coming to the many of the steels, only just a few examples I take it here. Many alloy steels are available. That is depending upon the depends and the customer needs. You can take anything else into the any elements you can take into the steel that becomes alloy steel. Just I will give a few examples. I will give it here: chromium, nickel, and manganese, magnesium, vanadium, tungsten. Like that, we will take. So we will discuss one more topic is there, that is effect of alloying steels. The effect of alloying steels in steels, which are the alloys which we can take part of the making the steels. That I will explain. Suppose I will explain that clearly in the coming classes or next topic. That is only coming to the third type of the steel is the stainless steel. Now we have like the stainless steel, Austenite stainless steel. Austenite stainless steel means it is stable at 727 degrees Celsius. 727 degrees. This is the austenite temperature. This is stable at 727 degrees Celsius. This austenite steel. This is a stable at 727 degrees Celsius. These steels are working in high elevated temperatures. That's what we can austenite, because these steels which we are constructing only with the heat treatment process steel, we are heating up to the austenite temperature, then we can cool them. Then that steel will be enhancing their properties. So you can say it is a stainless steel up to 727 degrees Celsius. This will be a workout. This will be stable at 727 degrees Celsius. Some steels, we start using some steels. Suppose the temperature will be increases from above 100 degrees Celsius, above the room temperature, they becomes expand or contract. There will be under pressure and temperature, the steel sometimes the steel will be under high pressure and high temperature. There will be something bad or something degrade will be happens in the steel. Maybe it is a contract or it is expand. But this austenite steel up to 727 degrees Celsius, nothing will be happens, because this stable at 727 degrees Celsius. 727 is an austenite temperature, so we can call it as an austenite steel. Now coming to the ferrite steel, what we are using the window grills and other applications which we get made by the low and medium carbon steel. These are the ferrite steels, because that steel is particularly stable in room temperature around about 30 degrees Celsius. Around about 30 degrees Celsius, that will be a workout. We can conveniently and comfortably working on that particular element or machine, because that is stable at room temperature. Now we are sitting upon the chair, sitting upon the cots, and working on that like this. These are stable at room temperature. Nothing will happen to at around about 30 degrees Celsius. So these kinds of steels, which you can call it as an ferrite steel. And martensite steel. Martensite steel means, so this is also belongs to the heat treatment. Here we are heating this above 727 degrees Celsius, above 727 degrees Celsius, or above 727 degrees Celsius. Above 727 degrees Celsius, we are heating these kinds of the steels. Above 727 degrees Celsius, we can call it as an recrystallization temperature. We are heating that particular steel above recrystallization temperature, and then we cool it in water only. Also, we can call it quench steel. Martensite steel called as a quench steel. These quench steels are quite brittle and harder than the ferrite and austenite. These steels are very hard. Martensite steels, that is, the martensite is the phase which we can get in the heat treatment process. Austenite is also kind of the phase which we can get at 727 degrees Celsius. Up to 727 degrees Celsius, we can heat it and it can cool down in room temperature. But slowly, that what we are getting, that phase is called as the austenite phases. But martensite phase, above 727 degrees Celsius, we can heat that steels, cool into the drastic cooling. Drastic cooling means immediately we have to quench into the water quenching or oil quenching. So this steel is also called as a quenched steel. This is very harder. This is a much harder than the ferrite and austenite steel. Hope you understand. Martensite is a phase we can achieve by 727 degrees Celsius, then cool down it in water, cold water. That's what quenching. Now coming to the pH steels, I explained already. Precipitation hardening or age steel, maraging steel. You can also call it as a maraging steel. Here also we heat the sample of the steel. We heat the sample of steel up to recrystallization temperature and cool them in long period of time. Not in 1 hour, not in slow cooling in 1 day, not for quenching and oil quenching and water quenching. This is around about minimum 48 hours and minimum 28 hours, which we are cooling these steels. We are heating up to above the recrystallization temperature or up to the recrystallized temperature and cool them in 48 hours, 2 days, 3 days, slow cooling. So after that we can achieve one phase, that is what precipitation phase. This steel also a very strong steel. All these are depending upon the applications. So that application needs these kinds of the steels. That's what we are constructing, these kinds of the steels. Now coming to the tool steels here. Tool steels. In tool steels, we have a cold work steel. Cold work steels in the sense, you can already explain that is lathe machine tools, drilling, milling, in your first year, what is that workshop, whichever the tools you have been used in your workshop. All steels, all the steels are cold works. All the tools are the cold work tools. You have been working on that particular tool in your workshop. All those are the cold work steels. Now the shock resisting steel. Some kinds of the steels are there. We are adding the tungsten into that steel alloy. Tungsten alloy we are adding into that steel. Shock resisting steel. Immediately you can apply the load. Immediately the temperature will be increases. Sudden shock. Maybe in terms of temperature or pressure. Nothing will happen to that kind of the steel. Those are called as shock resisting steels. In front of the vehicle, we can call it as an bumper. So all these kinds of applications, which you can call it as a shock resisting steels. We are using the bumpers for the in front of the vehicles because they are absorbing the shocks, pressure shocks. They are absorbing these kinds of the steels. Other many applications are there in industrially, but that could be absorbing the shock in terms of pressure or temperature. Now, high speed steel. You might have heard this word, high speed HHS steel. HHS, high HPS or HSS, high speed steel or high hardness steel. HHS is there, high speed steel is there. High speed bar HHS, and also 18 bar 8 stainless steel. These are all of the tool steels. You might have heard this word, shafts. Many kinds of the shafts. Shafts are almost the shafts. Shafts are made by the high-speed steel or HSS steel or 18 bar 18 stainless steel. Especially these three steels are made by the shafts. Shafts, bearing shafts, and electrical motor shafts. Some other bearing and motor, there will be a connection is there, bearing and motors. Some planetary gearbox shafts are which we are constructing. All the shafts are made by these kinds of the high-speed steels or lathe machine shafts, so lead screws. So these are all made by the high-speed steels or 18 bar 8 steel or HSS tool steels. I hope you understand all these kinds of the steels and their properties. Now I will leave this meeting. In next class, we will discuss about the effect of alloying elements in the steel. Okay. Then after that, we will discuss the iron carbon diagram. We will wind up this chapter. We will move on to the heat treatment, third module. So now is the time to wind up the class. Your VTT sir is waiting for you. Now I will leave the meeting. Thank you very much. Okay. I hope you understand this. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.